We all have our phones on mute. Just- Okay.
You can. Kind of New Paltz Planning Board. May 22nd. Have a quorum check for our next meeting? Jane?
Yeah, I'm here.
Not
Not going anywhere.
June 12th.
June 12th. Monday.
1, 2, 3, 4. We're good for quorum. Okay, so I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 8th.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone here for public comment? So our first application, Mr. Rappa. What's the resolution? Right?
This is gonna be your graduation.
Yes.
You're right in the swim of it this week.
Okay, so we're here tonight to read the conditions of your final resolution. Does anyone here have any questions for Mr. Rappa or his engineer?
Before getting to the conditions, the resolution does have your recreation finding. So by adopting the recreation, you're finding that there's a present and future need for parkland. The subdivision will contribute to the need, and that as a condition of approval, you're waiving the requirement that there be parkland on the subdivision plat, and requiring that a fee in lieu in the amount that's set by the town board be posted for the new lot.
Okay, that's motion. Do I have a motion? Someone,
Motion to set the recreation.
okay. Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't see specific conditions, here, are there?
It's on page 4.
Do you want to read the specific conditions? Okay,
One, this approval is subject to a final engineering review of the subdivision map. The subdivision map shall not be signed until receipt of a letter from the planning board engineer certifying that he has found the plan submitted for signature to be in proper order and in compliance with his various memorandum and with this resolution. 2, prior to the signing of the subdivision map, the applicant must provide proof to the building department that he has paid to the town clerk in full the recreation fee in such amount established by the town board for the additional lot created by this subdivision. 3, this subdivision is subject to the approval of the driveway and septic system on proposed lot 2 by the Ulster County Department of Public Works and Ulster County Department of Health respectively. Prior to the signing of this subdivision map, a note shall be added referencing these requirements. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall submit proof to the building department that the driveway on proposed lot 2 has received approval from the Ulster County Department of Public Works. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, all approvals necessary for the septic system and well on proposed lot 2 shall be secured and submitted to the building department, including approval from the Ulster County Department of Health. In accordance with the email from New York State DEC dated November 18th, 2022, no blasting, rock removal, pile driving, or similar allowed construction shall occur on the subdivided lot outside of October 1st to December 31st to avoid potential impacts to the bald eagle, and all tree removal shall occur between November 1st through March 31st. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, 1, the applicant must request that the NYSDEC reevaluate potential impacts to bald eagle nests in accordance with the NYSDEC email dated November 18th, 2022. 2, a determination by the NYSDEC that there will be no adverse impacts to nearby bald eagles must be received by the building department. And 3, construction may proceed only in accordance with such NYSDEC determination. No existing encroachments by adjacent properties are being approved by this resolution.
anyone have anything to say about the resolution on our board? Have a motion. Lauren, do you have anything?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second,
And can
Okay,
we do
and-
a roll call vote?
What?
A roll-
Okay, we'll have a roll call vote. Jane, oh, okay. Jane,
yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Adele, yes.
Jen, yes.
Lauren, yes.
The motion passes unanimously. I think we're all set. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
nice applicants and best of luck. Okay, I'm gonna, Kurt is supposed to be here. I don't see him for the next one.
Bye.
Bye. I think maybe we'll just.
Doc.
We're gonna switch, and I'll text Kurt, see if he's coming. He said he was coming. He didn't by any chance zoom in, did he, Kurt?
No.
Okay. I'm just gonna switch one application. Sorry, it'll take a few minutes. Thank you. So, Bimbo Bakeries.
Good evening.
Maybe.
Brian DeSalvatore is going to be a little late, so he might show up by the time I finish. I'm John Montaigne with Freeman Peterson Engineering. We were here a while ago.
That was the one, I missed one meeting.
Oh,
this
you
year.
missed
That
one
was it.
meeting? Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. So this is all new for you.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So the site is just down the road, 27 North or South Dakota Road. And this drawing I brought along here is the existing conditions drawing. And I figured this one was probably the most important one to look at to start with, because everything you see hatched here is existing pavement that we're removing to do the work that we're going to do. You can see there's quite a bit of pavement that's existing pavement. The whole lot right now is paved right up to the building and right out to the back. There are 4 variances that we just got from the ZBA to allow for the continuation of the route doors in the front of the building, to move the large tractor trailer trucks to the rear of the building. We're taking the parking that backs out onto the South Dakota Road out, but there's still parking that will be in the front yard setback. It's just that it will be on the sides of the building. And then there's an existing dumpster in the back that we want to put a dumpster enclosure in, make it a safer environment back there. So I'm gonna, if you can see this, I'm gonna switch to the proposed site plan.
Sorry.
So on the proposed site plan, what you see here is the tractor trailer truck that used to load at the front of the building here has been removed. All of those trucks are now in the back. There'll be roof doors that go into that area now to clean that up, and they'll be facing out to Henry DeWalt. We're adding green space in the front. We will need to get a county work permit for that work, because part of it goes out into the right of way. And what we've done is we're taking that green space and bringing it right out to the edge of the Empire State Trail. So it'll help define that edge along there much better instead of all the asphalt that runs along there. There'll be a new stairway at the end of where the existing stairs are, and then there'll be a new handicap ramp that comes in at the end of the building here. The existing office will remain. The parking that's out there will be reconfigured. The existing thrift shop will remain. And the parking that's there now will be on the side with green space around it now instead of backing out onto the road. So that was one of the big things that we were working to do. We are there's an existing leach field for a septic system back here that is in the 100-foot buffer. We have researched and we're bringing a force main outside of the buffer all the way back and tying into the new sanitary sewer line that was put in for the fire station. And we have that design now, and we are going to be submitting a map plan and report to the town board for that to allow us to be part of that sewer district number 1. The site already has a water line that comes in and goes into the building, but they're an out-of-district user, and we're going to be going also to the town board to become an in-district user as part of water district number 1. Those are 2 actions from the town board that we still have to do. It has been noted that this is a New York State DEC regulated wetland. Brian Drum did go out last September, and he delineated and flagged the wetland again. Our surveyor then picked that up, and then after that, Brian identified that we do need a New York State DEC wetland permit because we're not doing anything additional in the buffer. And so right now, we do have an email from him that we'll be sharing as part of the wetland application, because we did hear back from the consultant, their consultant that said that the short form that we submitted wouldn't be sufficient for the wetland, for the town's wetland permit. So we'll be doing the long form, and we'll include in that all the correspondence from Brian. The one thing I'm trying to get from Brian right now is back in September, we gave him that survey and asked him to sign it, and we just can't get him to sign it because he said, I really don't have to do anything here. So we're going to keep working on that. We'll eventually get that signed from him on that survey. Okay.
This is Kurt Sutherland, our architect.
Sorry.
And you?
I'm John Mustang.
Nice to meet you.
And our architect, Ryan DeSalvatore, with Alfondri is not here yet, but be here shortly, probably just as I finish it.
So. You have something?
I do.
Okay, we're gonna hear from Yanji, if that's okay, and then we can come back.
Sure.
You can sit down. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I'm Van White up here. But I do have, I did want to show you quickly. 2 seconds. Ryan did do, some renderings of the building. And the one thing that's important to note in here is, oh, there he is. The one thing that we are doing is all of the wall packs that shine out from the building all along, they're all going to be replaced with downlights. Ryan is also looking at the potential of doing other low-level lighting, bollard lighting, or some other lighting, and we do have to work through that. But we'll still be working on that.
It's the color rendering of the exterior of that building accurate. It's gonna be that brown.
It's just a red brick. This is the current color. The front of the building is not being proposed to be changed at all. It's just gonna be the red brick. And then more or less where the block is on all the sides, all the CMU kind of has a coating on it. We're gonna, at the very least, match the color of the brick. So I apologize if the rendering,
Now the gray.
Pigment.
Dark, yeah, the gray.
Yeah.
The gray, that kind of okay looking color will go away.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
plan, yeah.
I think you're also going to do the.
Yep, for the bimbo color, just the blue and white around the fascia, dress that up, because I think that's either like a powdery looking red right now or also an ugly brown, yeah. So,
I'm actually going to talk about that, but I wouldn't have time to make sense. Yeah, I would actually explore some other colors other than like a bright kind of blue, you know? Maybe something that's more interesting. Could be something harking back to like a factory sort of aesthetic, you know, I mean, this is an industrial building, so that's a little bit glitzy. you know,
okay,
so
that was, it's based on the company colors, it was where the choice was, but we're open to suggestions, but yeah, that's where the color came from.
All right, well, maybe there's another way to introduce color, but it's
Okay.
a prominent feature, you know. So.
Sure.
Throw it out there.
And what color, I mean,
I don't know, you know, I mean, but.
I agree, I mean. if
Not
that
really
blue-
sure, but.
You have to have the bright blue, then you have to have it.
There's an interesting opportunity too with that overhang. The soffit is like quite large. And some type of interesting, like more bracket detail could be kind of cool along the front of the building. I know it's an expense. You know, but I'm just throwing that out
They
there.
can afford it. It's a very big company.
Kind of like a portable detail underneath.
Yeah, it could be, you know, like researched a little bit in terms of like what would be appropriate for more of a industrial sort of factory look, but
Mhm.
could be an interesting texture rather than having like a large, long box. which is kind of what the building is right now.
Mhm.
So, okay, I mean, while we're there, let's work with this.
Sorry, yeah, I apologize for being
We'll go to
a little bit
Andy.
tardy. Thought we were gonna be a little further down the line.
So, do you have any other comments?
Those are the first two, otherwise, I know that, the introduction of greenery, and I'm sure will be discussed, and I think that's gonna be positive.
Mhm. Did you see the original,
This was just one that I showed that shows how much of the existing pavement is being removed, everything that's in the hatch.
Yeah.
Comes out,
Yeah.
so. We'll get some.
That's a good improvement.
And getting the beach filled out of the buffer's great. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cleans it all up.
okay, so Andy, we're up to you now. Thank you.
All right, just going through my letter here, as John said, they're gonna replace their basically like floodlights out in the front and replace those, provide a lighting plan, metric and all that. So that'll be good. We just talked about these green spaces, so they're adding, as he showed you, multiple. Taking out pavement along cut corners and adding green space, which is great. Currently, there's some trees in there, but I think this is, and the rest is grass or mulch or whatever. I think this is a real opportunity to do something more, to do some shrubs and grasses and could really break up that whole right now. Obviously, it's all just a pavement ocean through there. So we recommend, expanding on that landscape plan. We have a landscape architect on staff. She's very experienced. She could work with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we really don't have a problem with that. We just did the initial just to show that we wanted to, first of all, identify that we're adding the green space and we'll be, taking out the poor soils below and getting something decent in there that we can grow. We know that the shade trees we wanted to add in to get shading to the parking lot. After that, then it became a discussion of whether or not we were going to do bollard lighting or other lighting in there. And so there's still room, obviously, for doing shrub plantings and we'd probably be looking to do mostly natives that are not in need of irrigation or anything and can handle some salt loading in the wintertime because the lot will still have to be, salted for the trucks. The nice thing is it's a fairly flat lot, so you don't have, steep grades to worry about, so. But we'll work on that.
Where does
Absolutely.
that drainage go to?
So right now, everything sheets to to the back of the, well, I'll show you.
To the wetland?
So it shoots towards the wetlands, yes. But what's the significant thing about it is that you have, even though this is, so the wetland line is actually way back here. And you have a good, this is the 50-foot buffer here, and this is the 100-foot here. So you've got almost 50 feet in almost all cases of some very thick, heavy vegetation. And so that will, and has forever managed any water that flows to that wetland.
I'm not worried about water, I'm just concerned about salt.
That's what I mean. So the water will have the salt in it. The salt will get picked up in that plant material that's there right now. So there's, if you think about it, it's been there for 40 years and you don't have a detriment to the wetland. The wetland is doing very well. Now, Andy had mentioned potentially doing a peat gravel diaphragm, which is what the DEC does now for a lot of things. We can consider doing that, but again, that's, when you have over 20 feet of a grass buffer, the DEC doesn't really require that, but if it's something that this board would like us to look into, I don't think we would have any issue with that.
I can vouch for the poison ivy thriving out there, so
That's a native.
doing all right.
I think it'd be good to get something. I mean, if you did this, obviously you did this project now, you would have all kinds of stormwater treatment and ponds and bioretention and things. If you built it now.
Yeah,
So I think it'd be good to get some kind of filtering, a little bit of infiltration before it goes under. Something you mentioned, decompacting those islands is a good point. I think you should have some kind of detail of how you're gonna get down
Yeah,
whatever
we'll have-
18 inches.
We'll have a specification
Yeah.
on there for that.
Okay. Signage details, if you're gonna do any signage, I've seen you will be doing.
So when you say signage, so we have, the signs for the handicap parking and all that is on the drawings already. Are you talking about signage that would be BBU
Yeah,
signage on the building? So Ryan, I don't know if you've had any discussions.
No, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but obviously we'll need to meet criteria.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yep.
details on there.
Yep.
We just talked about stormwater. Building elevations have been provided, we just discussed. I saw the truck turning movements, which are good all around the back of the building. I think you need to show how they're doing the front loading docks there.
Yeah, those would be, so the front loading docks now that we've got the tractor trailers all out of there, will just be the root trucks, which are the smaller trucks that you see out there. And so we'll show that turning movement
Right.
for that and also for the side. But because the trucks are so much smaller, that'll be a lot easier. than
Yeah,
what we'll do
hopefully it
now.
doesn't go.
So they can see that.
Okay. So you're saying that the DEC is not requiring a permit, which is fine, we just need to see that.
Yeah, I've got the email.
Yeah,
I've got 9 copies of the email.
Okay.
You want one?
I wouldn't expect it to be a permit, it's hard to get anyway, even if you did have to get it, because you're improving buffer.
But as you noted, Annie, we did get the letter back from SLR and they are saying that they would like us
Yes.
to do the full, the long application. So we'll be working on that.
Right, so this does need a permit from this board for wetland, even though they technically are improving it by getting the septic out of there and taking out pavement. It's any disturbance to the buffer requires a permit, so. They've submitted an application, just needs to go through the process, similar to Hudson Valley Credit Union, where they were making it better, they were taking out pavement. Let's see, okay, so asking about the floor plans as RSP and IBP, I just didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, so that was, the IBP is the independent business partners. And those are the individually owned trucks, and then the RSP is the route sales professionals, so those are more or less employee owned route trucks. That's what that means, yeah, and all that'll be clarified on the updated
Okay.
submission.
I saw the electrical vehicle, so striping detail, but I didn't see where they're gonna go or the detail for the actual.
Right now, there's only one proposed and it is back. So it's shown on the drawing right here
Okay.
and it's noted here, proposed EV charging typical. So it's just back here by the office door. Show everybody else that's on the other end of the building. It's back here. Yeah, right back by the office in the back.
And only one is required. How many spaces are there?
There's 38 spaces here.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head how many the code says, but it'll have to meet.
Look, I'll go back and I'll check that again. I know I think we put one in because only one was required based on the number of spaces we had, but we'll make sure. Now, you had also asked about the actual equipment. Andy, did you want to see the manufacturer? Because I don't know that that's been selected.
Yeah, I think kind of a typical detail of, the type of charging station.
Okay.
I'm thinking if you do manufacturer, you can say or equal. But just whatever type. It's gonna be. Just some details.
At McDonald's put in one, I don't know if that helps you, but they have one charging station and I don't know which one they used.
Okay.
I think it's Blink.
Blink?
I think.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called. It's right there, you can see.
How many charging stations do they have?
Right now, we only have one showing. 38.
They do make those doubles where you get
Yep.
like 2 for
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Whatever the code says, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll double check that.
Yeah, you have the ones out
Yeah,
here,
well, I was gonna say.
Right out here,
that
then. other stations, I think 4 of them outside here.
Yeah.
I think one of the, and we'll double check the code, John, but I think based on the calculations, we're only required 24 spaces. And we're giving 39, so we'll double check if it's based on parking supplied or parking required, or how that works out, but we'll check that.
It's required.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah, at least one for every 20, it looks like, so you might need to do, since you can't have
do the 2
half of
for,
the space, probably 2.
All right, a bicycle parking rack detail, it shows that you're conforming with that section of code. So I can just go to the fire department to make sure that they don't have any issues, with access or fire flow or any of those issues. Mentioned the county, we just need to make sure that obviously the county is in the loop as far as, you know, their highway work permit and the trucks, you know, and everything you're doing there. The county should be on board, so I think it'd be helpful to get, you know, that conversation with them and some correspondence from them to make sure that this plan is.
Yeah, we have the draft application. We just haven't submitted it to them yet.
Okay.
I believe this application is gonna go back to county planning, right?
It will,
So when it
Yeah.
goes to county planning, we figured we'd also call and contact DPW at the same time.
Okay.
And just
so they
Yeah,
haven't
they are.
seen this yet, DPW hasn't.
DPW has not seen this yet,
Okay.
not yet.
Yeah, we should have did sooner rather than later because, you know, they may have an issue with how it's laid out. I don't know.
Right, we'll be submitting that next week.
Okay,
The main thing for us was to get through the ZBA and
right.
then come back to see this board, you know, one time at least before we went on to the county to make sure that we had at least some concurrence that we were going down the right path with you.
Yeah, I would probably try to send it to them before, because they won't send it to county until it's all complete.
Mhm.
I would probably try to get in touch with DPW before that.
We will,
Yeah, okay,
we'll be pushing for that next week, as I said,
great.
we'll have that application.
All right, you mentioned adding sewer district number 1, then you're gonna do the map plan and report, town board. We should send the pump station and all the sewer details to the sewer department.
Yep.
Same with water, you're gonna get added to that district, even though you're already connected. And then I had 3 small comments on the EAF, and I didn't realize that the EAF was submitted a few months ago. That may have addressed these.
Right, and it addressed these, because when you had first put these out, it was before we went to the ZBA,
Right.
so we went to the ZBA, we gave them the updated full EAF.
Right.
So that,
So these may already be addressed.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay, so any questions from the board?
I have a
Um,
couple
yes.
comments. So you did circulate for lead agency back in January. You have not received, to my knowledge, any objections from any of the other involved agencies, so you could go ahead and assume lead agency status tonight.
okay. Do we have to need a motion
Motion
for
to
that?
assume lead agency
Okay,
status.
so I have a motion to assume lead agency. So moved. Okay, I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Right.
One other thing, so the ZBA did vote on the variances, but you haven't completed seeker yet, and you're the agency, so I did speak with them about that. So after you complete seeker, if you're assuming a neg deck, then they'll just go back to the ZBA just for reapproval, once the environmental review has been done. So we'll keep the ZBA apprised of when that happens. And one more comment was section 140 sub 18 D to little d, requires fences and wall screening when you're abutting a residential or business district. So I believe the Main Street mixed use district boundary is adjacent. So if you could take a look at that section and make sure you're complying with any.
Can you say that
screening
section again one more time, please?
Sure. It's 140-18 D to D.
So I saw that and I looked at the zoning map and when they did the zoning, they didn't actually use the property lines.
Okay, so it's.
So I don't think it actually abuts, there's like a 30 or 40 foot strip of I'm on that lot.
Okay,
So I don't think they abut business district the way I saw the zoning map, just. We have to double check,
and I wonder if they have a provision, so you know,
they might, yeah.
if it doesn't follow, that it might be
Yeah, that-
interpreted to follow, yeah.
So the one thing to consider in that too, from a practicality standpoint, is there's a very long wetland all around us that's wooded. So to put a fence on our property, you never see it from the other district.
Yeah, you're really not screening anything there.
Yeah.
Mhm. Any other comments from our board? So, maybe you can reach out to Kurt and have a talk.
Okay. Yeah,
We
sounds
can
good.
give you his number. I don't know if you have a card with you. We have some good suggestions for you.
I always feel like when you have a corporate color or whatever, that's almost like a sign. I mean, it may not be technically a sign, but it's sort of.
It's branding,
Yeah.
branding. Yeah.
Not that anybody knows the brand. I looked it up and I went, oh my goodness. I'd never heard of it before. And I thought, what a weird name.
I
And
think
then
it's
I found
Spanish
out
for
that-
teddy bear. Bimbo.
Is really?
What? That's what I was told.
No, but when you go to
That's
Mexico
what
and
they told
Central America, that is like their Wonder Bread is bimbo.
Bridge?
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a bridge for Sarah.
I've been bamboozled. Somebody lied to me.
Sarah Lee and
Yeah.
everything you love,
Thank you.
right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Are
guys,
good
so
friends.
you will be speaking.
Okay,
right?
sure.
And then, maybe we can just make it look a little better, but I think we're
Yeah.
on the right track.
Okay.
The green space is really nice.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, we'll enhance that landscaping. We'll get back in front of the county, DPW. You've got to pursue our map plan report, progress with the town board, so we've got a little homework to do yet, but we're going in the right direction.
thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
You have to sign,
Oh, okay.
One of the copies, which one did they get?
they get the one big.
It's on the applicant line right here.
I think you're right, Andy. I don't think they have, but
No.
Yeah.
it's like a little space right here. I
Okay.
think that's what it's talking about.
Thank you, sir.
But I would double check.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great.
Weird, but they didn't put the line. Those were.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nice to have something in really good shape.
So,
Going back.
thanks for your patience, 409 Main Street.
Good evening.
Good evening.
No, we did that.
Oh, you did that.
Skip this.
Okay, got it.
It was just a resolution.
Okay.
They were done. Sorry. It's always.
Okay, so since we last met, Kurt and I had met on site, we discussed a couple of options. That was the impetus for this latest design. We had our zoning board meeting last week. We were denied the 2 canopy signs, so the canopy is no longer being touched. It'll remain as is. So no 2DI fascia or any of that. It'll remain as is, and we're only proposing changes to the building itself and the new main item sign.
Can I get
Pretty straightforward.
clarification on that, so
Yep.
that blue strip around the top of the canopy is not going to be there?
We're not touching the canopy, correct? So it's gonna be the way it is. We're not, we'll clean it up and maybe add a coat of paint, but it is gonna remain as is, yeah. So the idea behind this latest design is to clean up the trim lines, incorporate some of the ideas and concepts that we had discussed on site and in the previous meeting. So we feel it's a little bit cleaner and straightforward, and a little bit sharper of a look. So if any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer.
You just submitted something. I have something for May 10th.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
This is what it looks like.
yeah.
Where's, I think that the clean up the canopy and the definition at the top of it and losing the Google is really good. I really like that.
Right.
It looks very nice. I like, the way the stone has been left. I don't understand the wood on the pediment and it distracts me. And I would love to see that resolved in a slightly more elegant way. I just think it looks like wood was put up there to hide something, almost.
Well, it's gonna hide the ephes, but.
Well,
But I mean, as far as like different color or texture,
Well, I mean, I think that that's something that I would love to see worked on.
okay, I mean, they do have different shades. We're looking at some kind of like a whitewashed almost appearance as well, but this wood cedar kind of look is kind of, we use it on a lot of our sites to highlight the sign. We feel that it works pretty well.
Right, but it doesn't look so great with the brick on the bottom of the building, I think, and it looks like somebody just stuck wood up there. There's nothing, it ties into nothing. You guys may use it, but you've asked for
Right.
comments, and
Right.
so it looks to me like it doesn't tie into anything else in the building.
Right.
So that's my comment.
Yeah, I think there's a little improvement on the sides of the building. I wish that squirrel were blue. To go with the rest of the station. But I agree with Jane as far as the wood goes. I'd love to hear from our architect.
Yeah, well, I do feel like taking the frieze over top of the glass is definitely an improvement. Do you think that the front of the building is sort of like it's almost feels like you chop something, because the sides don't really come into the front. There's a way to, bring some of the, when we spoke, I talked about some authentic architectural detailing
Right,
that can somehow turn the corner.
right,
Because if you can create like, not an out neoclassical building, but if you can get some of that architectural detailing, which is classical, coming around the corner, you could theoretically still frame a sign. I don't know if it'd be that much wood, but you
Right.
could still frame a really nice proportioned area. And then it would, tie the sides of the building into the front. I know you're limited in terms of like the glass curtain walls in the front are not really allowing you much room on the corners.
that,
You have the front of the building and then you turn, so you have two corners. The problem is those corners are too thin. And ultimately, it's not allowing you to do like a good architectural detail on those corners. I
right,
feel like that's the weak spot, because it's not allowing you to do something above it. Because if those were more like columns, you could bring the frieze board around,
right,
look like the frieze board is being held by columns. And then maybe you could then develop, what I was calling something, closer to an authentic architectural detail, not something that's so derivative and watered down.
right.
Because that's kind of what's happening here.
And that's what you had sketched on site.
Yeah.
That detail is coming around.
Yeah.
Doing trim work in my past too, that corner is a little awkward. It's not kind of like a 90-degree angle would fit it a little bit better, but I have to kind of slam,
Right.
not slam it, but
Yeah.
die that side piece of trim into the front there. We could look at wrapping that around in a way, but looking at it from different angles, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out, or visualizing what it would look like if we could wrap that.
Could the front curtain wall, get smaller? Because like if you could reframe it, you would get more room on the corner.
Right, I mean, they don't want to, the ownership doesn't want to reduce the visibility through the store as much as possible. So if we can keep what we have there, we make it bulkier a little bit, which is what I've done. It's gonna have to get a little bit bigger.
I have to mention it. I know that this site is somewhat defined, but is there any way to do somewhat of a portico coming out from the building? Is that like something that could be considered?
I mean, if we could do it in a way that's not going to be tied to the ground by columns, we had discussed that as an option on site too, but
Mhm.
that might, that would get into a little bit more of a detailed site plan and logistics and deliveries and that sort of thing, so.
I just think it's worth mentioning because, if you don't mention it, then it's never considered as a possibility.
Right,
And it would really help the front of that building, but if you can't go that far, then you could, maybe spend more energy and money on the front of the building.
right, looks like more details on that corner itself. And then rethinking the.
And how
material
it ties into above.
Right,
Kurt,
That's-
is there any way that the window on the right, as you're looking to it, are the big full panes like the front, and then the one on the left has smaller panes? Can we get the sides, those side windows matching? Would that help at all?
Yeah, I'm actually
Either,
just,
make a choice, but make them match.
we're not sure where that came from either, but they appear to be applied, they call them.
Sometimes you do that, the mullions, yes, sometimes you get them and you can pull them off.
Right,
But I mean, if you're gonna do mullions on one side, you should have mullions on
Right.
both or not on
right.
both.
We'd rather take them off as I was asked, so I mean, it would match it, a little bit better.
It should
but-
match whatever the the decision might be. I brought it up to Kurt because I don't know if he thinks the
no,
mullions help better.
it is confusing right now, and I think there's no mullions in the front, so if there's not gonna be mullions in the front, then probably no mullions, period. But that would hopefully be, you know, a minor consideration after the front of the building looked a lot better.
Right.
So it's worth having another discussion to, I'm not
Yeah,
sure that
sure.
he's totally reading what you're saying. Obviously Kurt can't help with the design too much,
Right.
right?
Well, you had produced that sketch on the site that,
Yeah.
which I think is what you're alluding to.
Yeah, I mean, more, it was a suggestion.
Right. So that was a little bit watered down from what we had discussed, but.
Yeah, this is a very contemporary look. I mean, if you look at the way this line just goes up and frames it out and comes down, this is a very contemporary look. Reminds me of a residential building, sort of, you know, in the 80s or 90s. You know what I mean? Kind of has like a very residential feel. But, you know, if this entablature could freeze board, you know, was able to come around in some way, and this freeze board was a little bit thicker, and there was a column here, and I mean, there's lots of examples of how that could be resolved. Ultimately, it's not an easy design problem. I mean, in a way, it's tricky, you know?
Yeah.
So I hope that you could.
Yeah.
Can you get up and run
Come
around?
up with a good solution or work with somebody that could help you come up with a good solution on that, because it's not an easy,
Right.
you know.
I have something modeled up that did include that piece that comes around the front. So, I mean, I could send that out to
Yeah,
you
sure.
for review again.
I'd love to take a look at that.
This seems simpler than McDonald's was, and we worked with McDonald's very successfully. I think we have a great product. And, you know, they had a very sort of strict thing, and it took a while. It took a few iterations of doing it, but, and they had to, you know, hear what we were saying and sort of process it, because they were coming from a kind of different place. But I think it's extremely successful, the building, and looks great.
What if you
Yours
put
to
a
look at
canopy
too.
across? You know. Raise the sign up, so was read above the canopy like low pitch, you know, 3 or 4 and 12 or something like that, come out. That's a sidewalk. I don't know,
Yeah, it's possible, because you could,
Is that
lots
like a
of
portico?
possibilities there, you know, that entire, the freeze board could come around a little bit, maybe not as thick, but like, you know, incorporate something. Like you know, that type of roof type, canopy type structure.
that could be supported off brackets almost, so you didn't have a column down to you.
Right.
But I don't know if they back trucks up. to it.
It's tricky though, because brackets are not really like something you find in classical architecture. You know, it's like, that would be a tricky one to sort
I
of
must have
tie
missed that
in.
class.
What's that?
I must have
It's not
missed that
class, yeah.
class.
So I wouldn't necessarily be looking for brackets, you know, that particular, I wouldn't feel like brackets would be an appropriate solution there. You wouldn't have to necessarily have it come out so far that you would need brackets. It could something that could be tied back into the building, you know.
Right.
But I realize a roof is going to cut up into your signage, so my main concern is that the architectural detailing looks like it's somehow like consistent and integral, you know. So it doesn't look like there's a front and then 2 sides. It should all look
Can I
like
ask
it's the same thing.
I'm terrible at this, but I'm gonna ask anyway. So why can't you bring the brown over here on the side, so it looks like it's, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like this color. And not have just this huge white trim piece on both sides. Is that a terrible idea? You can tell me.
Well, I like it to go
We
the
want
other way.
less
We're
of the-
told we want less of the brown.
No, it's fine. I understand what you're saying, but we're trying to bring it all together, so. You know,
'Cause
he could make it all white.
I think
and
it'd
then
be
it's all
too, I
white.
think it'd be too little siding.
Would that look bad too? All
No, I
white?
don't think so.
This is the styles don't.
Yeah,
My reaction to that would be too little siding in that area to make sense, like siding
Right,
almost
not
like,
big enough.
almost needs a certain area to sort of like say, makes sense, yeah. It's like enough room for a beam, it's a little bit thicker than, you know, maybe you need, but it's not but thick freeze board on a Greek Ronaldo building is often that thick, it can be that thick, so it's not out of the
Right.
the realm of possibility. It's just that needs to tie into the front, in my opinion, so it doesn't look like the sides are different design in front of the building.
Mhm. I think it started to go in the right direction with those sides.
Mhm.
I'm happy to hear about the gas station piece of it.
Right.
You know, so I think that's good. A little bit more work. I completely agree with Kurt personally. If you could bring that to look like they belong together, the front and the
Right.
sides a little bit more. Maybe send something out to him. You can make suggestions or yeah, sure you can.
This is just preliminary. I just wanted to, just to make sure I'm kind of on the right page. It's a rough sketch.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Bringing it around, that's what we had discussed.
Yeah. And the tricky part of what you're showing here, which is the column looks a little too thin for that.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
problem. Like I know that that's exactly right, but you were sketching it.
Right,
If I were sketching design, that's where I would run into a problem and I'd be like, I gotta make that like bigger. And then that means, the curtain walls to get smaller. So
Plug on one little
that's the
thing.
problem. Is that, you know, you're pulling the.
yeah, chasing everything around.
So maybe
Yeah.
another,
It's
like
not
if you send
concede on
something
it.
over to
No, it's
him,
not.
It's not.
a little
Like,
bit back and forth.
Yeah,
if-
Right.
Unless you have someone else. to-
No, you-
No, I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be like we're close, so,
Okay.
you know, we're just gonna work out the minor
Enhance the
details.
curtain wall rather than
Yeah.
take away from it. I mean, you're
Yeah.
not making the sides of them this wide. If it was this wide, it would frame the curtain wall. I don't think that you'll lose any visibility into the store. It'll just look so much more,
Like
inviting.
making the corners a little larger.
Yeah, because it's like a picture frame.
Yeah.
You can have a skinny one, or it look more important with thicker
Right,
frames.
I think at this is like
Very
5
small
inches.
amount of-
Right.
Yeah.
But
very
it's, we
small.
moved it up to 10 inches to make it a little bit bigger, so it's we're into the window a little bit, but.
But
not
it's
very
gotta be to
much.
scale. I don't know what the scale of the building is
It would be
exactly.
roughly around that big in the end to fit with what you have up top.
Right,
And right now you have this, like, that's what you have on
Right.
site. So it is, that's about 9 inches roughly.
yeah.
So
So I'm gonna just ask
Not
Kathy if
both
he has
sides.
any comments.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. it seems reasonable, but
You might have said this already, but I want to make sure I understand. So you're abandoning the canopy, you're not replacing the monument sign anymore.
No, the monument sign is, we're still proposing that to be changed, so that wasn't in front of the board for signage variance. So the design
But
of
that
that
was being
is,
disturbed, right? They were
Yeah,
outside disturbance.
so you're gonna update the site plans to show everything that you're doing currently.
right. So the main ID sign is gonna be as proposed, so we're gonna change it, we're proposing to still change that.
Okay, are you still proposing the synergy stuff?
That's all existing on there as it is now, so that's what Stacy had written a letter saying that she doesn't consider that all signage.
What is it? Is that red? thing?
Right. Yeah,
That's
the-
there now?
The red elements, there's a few of them that are there now, and then the other ones that we're looking to put in. Well, yeah, because they hug the column. They're called waves, blades, and koalas.
But that's.
Is that like
okay.
gas station terminology or it's
That's-
mobile?
That's mobile synergy branding. So they do that
Okay.
nationwide.
I think for me, the thing is to make this building look nice and make it coordinate with the rest of the gas station somehow. And the building is starting to look better, and I'm glad that you don't have a lot of stuff going on. I didn't realize that we were getting more of those red things. But they're allowed, right?
Are you saying it's staying the same?
There are some there now. I believe we are we're proposing to add the waves, which are the big arching things in the front. So they kind of come up behind the bollards and then face towards the canopy, and then some of the elements line up with that.
Did you consider the monument sign, like doing another monument sign? Monument signs are nice.
Isn't that preferable?
Rather,
on-
yeah,
on our code?
rather
Right.
than, I mean, maybe not that one, but another one.
Well, we had
And
looked into
slow.
that, but we have the landscaping, if anybody traveling west on the road there, you can't see the monument sign until you're pretty close. So the idea is to get the ladder sign up high to get above the landscaping that was in front of that.
Mhm.
That's why we had chosen the ladder sign instead of the monument sign.
Okay.
That's why we require the monument sign.
So, I mean, I think that monument sign needs to be updated a little. We lose on it, but anyway, so I think now the best we can do is work on the building. I like blue squirrels too. Just saying.
Well, it's not very common to see a board that makes us change colors, but it's.
So you-
This is a very important place for us because it's the first thing everybody's thinking of in this town.
Right,
So it means a lot to us.
right.
And to you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this
Thank
is
you.
one of our,
Yeah,
original
of course,
stores.
but For us, it's like, you know,
Wasn't
everything.
McDonald's gonna keep their big sign and then they decided to change it
Mhm.
to lower it down? Cause I hate to say this, but everybody knows it's a gas station.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, people getting off the highway are gonna know.
Over, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna pass by and go, oh, that was a gas station? I'm with the monument sign as well, I think. I think it looks nice.
All right,
So just before we end that, there, Stacy wrote a letter basically saying that those red things were signs, and then the word was that it changed her recommendation. Did she send an email or anything like that, or was it
She-
just
You got a memo.
Yeah, I believe there
a
was
new memo on that?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay,
It's in the file.
all right.
I'll read them to you.
I think if there was writing on it. the
Right.
red sign,
Okay, I just want to
Right,
make sure
I'm
we,
pretty sure that's what she said, but there's no writing on
So
it.
we're proposing, yeah, it's like the one that's down in the village, 3 North Chestnut. That one has all the elements without any signs.
Is that the same owners?
Yeah, that was the original store back in the eighties.
The one downtown?
Right, we don't, I believe we leased that one there, so it's.
Mhm. Okay, all right, so we're getting closer
Right.
and you guys can be in touch.
Yep.
And we'll see you again.
All right, sounds good.
Anything?
Just, I guess, so you are still doing the site disturbance to change that monument sign to a ladder?
What does that entail?
There was a little bit of, I think, site disturbance that was proposed on your site plan because of the changing.
Right, because
line
we're,
of the
yeah,
site.
we're gonna have to dig a
So if
new
you can make sure
foundation.
you resubmit that, and also a lighting plan, I believe, would need to be done, because you are adding lighting
For the.
for the
mon-
signs
for
and for the
signs.
building.
Okay,
I think it was in Andy's last comment memo. I didn't see a response to that comment memo from the last meeting.
What else?
yeah, I think it's updating the site plan. To be current and addressing
I didn't make.
the comments would be helpful.
Just work with her,
disturbance and lighting.
lighting.
Okay.
Hold on one sec, we're gonna give you something that doesn't have everything on it, but just a few things.
Site disturbance.
Just sign that you received that, and we'll give you a copy. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
all right, have a good evening.
Thanks, you
Thank
too. Patty? Hi, good evening. Good evening.
No.
I'm gonna say good night.
Good night, thanks for everything. You guys will be.
Oh, I hope it wasn't me.
Do you have anything architectural?
No, all right, no, it's got a lot of.
All right. so you don't- All right, have a good night. everyone.
You want to redecorate the trees.
Yes, redecorate the tree.
So, good evening. It has, we last appeared before the board on this project at the end of January. At that point in time, Ashley had been working on some recommendations to the town board about changes to the cluster plan. The board had suggested that I submit a narrative considering the current plan as the cluster. But since the town board was potentially entertaining the changes to the town code, I sat back for a couple of months. I know that the town board did review it at their first meeting in March, but unfortunately, since then, there's been no action and I haven't received any responses to my repeated inquiries to the town board. So the client is becoming increasingly anxious to move forward with the project. So we're back again this evening. We did submit the narrative that had been requested. I did speak to the attorney for the applicant today, and they did submit the road dedication to Joe Moriello for his review. He sent back a couple of changes, which they're making at this point in time. I think we were at the point, the board did assume lead agency, at the meeting that we had in January. And basically we're looking to see if the narrative that was submitted is acceptable as far as the cluster. I do know that we did not submit a cluster plan map because again, my consideration was that the map that we submitted really was the best cluster plan that we could submit for this property. There is the issue of the 50% minimum open space area. If we take the wetland areas and kind of delineate them out, I was able to calculate out that we would have 24.35 acres of conservation area. I think where I'm a little bit confused, and maybe Ashley can help with this. If we show the cluster plan as an alternative, but decide to go with a conventional subdivision, do we still have to create the conservation areas?
No, and what it is for the planning board to see what that true cluster plan would look like, which one of the big pieces of that is a 50% dedicated or preserved open space.
Okay.
So, and then the planning board reviews, and decides it's better to go with the conventional and you're gonna proceed in that way, but to show on a sketch what that would look like.
Okay, so if we actually take the wetland areas on lots 1, 2, and 3, and also the same thing on lots 4 and 5, and kind of just, take the wetland areas back on all of those lots, that ends up being 24.35 acres. So that kind of is a natural conservation area that's being created by the wetlands and the topography of the sites themselves. So, we can submit for the record so that there's something on file that says this is the conservation plan. It's identical to the conventional subdivision, because I believe that conventional subdivision really is a cluster plan. And will include in that the conservation areas that would be in that, which would total more than 50% of the overall site.
Andy, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's I see what Patty's saying, that it's the same layout. If we did a cluster, I don't know, technically, do we need to have it in the file that says this is the cluster plan and this is the conventional plan? I don't know, but I think the arguments make sense that this is functioning as a cluster. It's not showing that 50% open space on it, but I think if the board, you could require to do something simple, just like a, 8.5 by 11 showing the lot layout and not
And where
necessarily.
the conservation areas are, the open space areas, because I calculated them out actually, for each individual lot. And I've already done that, so it would be very easy to submit. And then, on the title, I could call it, open space alternative or something along those lines.
Yeah, I
showing
think
the
a
conservation.
cluster sketch plan, something like, I think
Yeah.
that's the requirement in the code, so
Mhm.
just a sketch.
Yep.
Okay, works for me, works for Lyle. Works for you
Makes
guys?
sense.
Yeah, works.
This is
Okay.
really a distinction without a difference.
Right.
Okay,
And I think the other major issue that came up was the comment letter that we had received back from Mark regarding the potential wetlands on the adjacent property on the southerly side. So, part of the issue that we have is, of course, I can't be, nor can Mark be trespassing on adjoining owners' properties to say, is your wetlands within 100 feet of the boundary line? Oftentimes landowners really don't want you on their property to delineate their wetlands. So what I did try to do was, I took the Ulster County parcel viewer and took the wetlands and kind of did the 100-foot buffer, which extended, and I would submit this to Andy and or Ashley to review. And then I also did the Google map. They actually have improved mode and put a roadway all the way up to the boundary line. So I went there today before I came to the meeting, and you can actually see the roadway coming in from North Ohioville Road. And if you go on Elliott's Lane, you can see the entire open field. I believe they might be using it agriculturally. Somebody might know better than me what they're using the property for now, but it seems like they've cleared the entire property. There is a pond down here. Elliott's Lane is down here. And again, when you're on Elliott's Lane, you can look up at it. This is a low area, and then this rises quite a bit. It does not appear that there's any wetlands there at all. So I don't know if there's an alternative to having Mark go out and delineate on an adjoining neighbor's property. We do have the house already over 100 feet away from the boundary line. So I'm hoping that we can come up with some kind of an alternative to having somebody actually,
What about the
Trespassing.
area disturbance is also 100 feet from,
the septic area is not 100 feet from the boundary line, but I'm purporting it's more than 100 feet from any regulated federal wetland.
So I can add a little to that. So Mark, I spoke with Mark today, and if you look at the Army Corps wetlands, the map on the parcel viewer, it shows it coming fairly close to where not fairly close, but
There's a copy of it.
bordering where she's putting the house on lot 3. But then when you turn on the aerial photo, because they're very approximate, the Army Corps wetlands on those maps. I mean, you look at the actual aerial photo, it's mowed field. And it's a driveway, and if it ever was one there, it's not there anymore. And that was Mark sent that email out today. I don't know if everybody saw that. But you can basically
I didn't
explain that
see-
basically it's very unlikely that the project will be in the wetland buffer.
And again, I don't know if you want to, everybody to take a look at.
It's just not that.
And there's also difficulties in going on someone else's property to rent it away.
Let's take a look at that. Here we go. So, Andy, what do you propose next? As far as Mark's suggestion.
I mean, I think it's at the end of the day, it's up to the board, but I think it's basically very unlikely that anything on her project, on this project, is within 100 feet of a wetland. So I think that after me and Mark looked at it on the screen, I think she changed his mind a little, that he didn't really think it was nearly as much of an issue. And so to verify that might not be possible.
Okay, so we have to go with his best opinion.
I think so. And wetlands are pretty uncommon in a mowed field, and that's what it is.
So, all right, so what's next for us? You're gonna you give us a cluster narrative. Now you're gonna give us that cluster sketch that we just talked about.
You are.
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna take that.
okay.
So you're coming to the,
I'm hoping that,
Moving along.
that the board feels comfortable enough at this point in time to schedule a public hearing. I know that before the, public hearing is opened, I believe the secret determination needs to be
Yes.
made.
And Andy had circulated, I believe, a EAF part 2 for this application. Originally, I thought, when the wetlands inspector's comments came in, that you might not be able to act on that tonight, but I think that's been resolved now, so.
Can we do that on the same day? Go through this EAF and. have the
Before
public-
opening, you could do it, if you wanted to do it this evening, or if you want to do it just before you open the public
I
hearing,
think maybe.
you could do that as well.
do it tonight.
Okay,
We have time.
well, you get a list application, we have time to do it.
I have all the time you want.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
Are we doing the part two?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, I have the part one. What happened here? Wait, I have to
He had
find.
sent it all as one. To the part two is attached to it.
Yeah, you gotta scroll down.
Okay, okay. Everyone have their part two?
No.
Let's get to the agenda.
Where is it?
It's attached to the agenda that links to the file.
No, which,
The EAF. So, let me do it.
the short form? I thought you said we're doing a short form right now. Is that what you said?
We're doing the,
Part two of the short one.
Okay. Gotcha.
you see it?
Okay.
While you're getting that up, Patty, I did have a question. I saw
Lot
the,
4.
yes. the
Yes.
Ulster County permits. I didn't
So
know if it
lot
was
1
just-
did not
leave
require
one.
it because it's actually part of the approved plans. The reserve area is on the approved plans.
Okay,
And lot 4, I reached out to the client and to the engineer. There is an approval for lot 4, but nobody could put their hands on it before the meeting tonight.
okay.
So I will make
figured it was
sure that's-
probably
yeah.
Just, not intentional.
I'm ready. Whenever you guys are ready.
Okay, we all have it? Okay, we're ready.
So here, I'll give you my suggested answers. You can stop me at any time. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of the land? No or small. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change in existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will proposed action impact existing public, private water supplies? No or small. Will it impact public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No or small. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No, they're outside of the wetland buffers. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No or small. They did a stormwater report. Will proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No.
Good. We need a motion.
Motion to issue a negative declaration.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So we can now set up a public hearing. But it's not the next agenda, right? Let me see.
Patty, did you put your signs up yet?
No,
Okay, and the signs must be up 15 days for the public hearing,
But we have 3 weeks till our next meeting, right? That's what it looks like.
June 12th.
Mhm.
It's the next meeting.
so I think if we get the signs up this week, I think we're good, right?
You
Chris?
go to Muskie Street then? I gave you that info, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, June 12th,
So we have a big agenda on June 12th.
so far,
Wow.
Still early.
I was gonna say, bring brownies and we'll have a party.
Okay, so anything else?
A motion to schedule the public hearing for June 12th.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
One more issue. Yeah.
The big
Uh-oh,
one.
what did I
The big one.
forget?
The
big one.
buildings, the existing buildings.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's a question on the timing of that. So there's a bunch of them, 4 or 5 buildings are gonna be.
Yeah,
removed.
I told him to apply for a demolition permit now for the one that needs to be removed prior to the signing of the plat. Because, well, I guess if it's a conditional approval until he meets the conditions, because I was worried about the timing of the number of days that file the map after final approval. But, so I guess if it's a conditional approval, the clock doesn't start running till after the conditions are met, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, so, but I told him to apply for it now.
Right.
and I
And-
guess,
That one obviously has to come down.
Yep.
It's on the lot, proposed lot line. But I'm questioning whether we can create lots that not remove the other buildings, because those buildings wouldn't meet setbacks. It would be creating non-conforming lots.
yeah.
Okay,
So
so
would all
I'll
ha- they
tell him
all-
to get a
they
demolition
all have to
permit
come
now.
down Before the plans are signed.
I mean, if he's getting a demolition permit, he
Yeah.
might as well get it for
Right.
everything.
Yeah, so they all
But
should
so-
come down before the plans would be signed, they would have to come down, and then the plans updated before they're filed to show that they're
Yes.
actually down.
Do they need to come before us with respect to the demolition permit?
I don't believe
No,
so.
condition of.
Yeah, it would be a
Map.
condition of any final approval that you give. It would be before you sign plans, they have to remove everything, so.
And then
People have-
Ashley reviews it, Andy reviews it, says, yes, I met all the
building- yeah, so
conditions,
the building
then you can
department would have
sign.
to- I think it's
Just
just a
give us
building
completion.
department permit for
Mhm.
demolition.
Yes,
Because we have had people come before us for demolition permits.
to the planning board?
Yeah, that 87
something that
motel,
would
or
be-
was it not the, whatever that hotel is behind the diner that just got,
Yeah, the one that
Demolished.
just demoed something else without asking.
The
first.
Gen-
They
Going
just-
back to
just-
that one.
they
You're saying the
just-
Genesis
Genesis
hotel.
Diner just disappeared.
One weekend.
Without even getting a
we don't know.
demolition permit from the building department?
We don't know.
We don't know.
One
Yeah,
weekend.
because I
It's
think,
just-
I mean,
It ended up on Facebook with 3 pictures saying, look at this.
yeah, I was
Did you
pretty
see
shocked when I drove by and went, where'd the building go?
that? You weren't the only one.
But
Good.
the hotel
I was
behind
too.
it came before us to
Okay.
get.
It's commercial, because it's
Permit.
commercial, possibly,
Yeah.
site plan.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, if they were they seeking to do anything in its
Well,
place?
no,
or-
they're
No.
planning to reuse the foundation and slab though. That's why I said
Okay.
they went to demo. And then come up with a plan to build on the same location.
Footprint.
That was the case.
Mhm. Oh, that was why they had to come before us. Okay.
And I think this,
Diner.
since you've been reviewing the application with the understanding that that's part of it, is taking it down, whatever's there. I don't think it would need a separate application to it.
So I just want to be clear that it's just the building remains that have to be moved. The stone foundation is a field stone foundation, and we were planning on leaving that in place. That's on the, it's too close to the property line here, but it's like a stone wall. But it's,
Yeah, I think that's.
yeah, okay. I just want to be clear that we're all on the same page about what the expectation is. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, does anyone have anything else? Any other matters?
The memo we received about the change in the accessory dwelling law, just a reminder to everybody to read it.
Mhm.
I started and
I see.
and then
Well, and then there's a training on
And
June 6th
then-
about ADUs.
there's a training.
I think.
It's a
people
class.
sent it,
Yeah.
You know, when.
I went
Yeah.
to that in
I didn't
Saratoga.
do that. Yeah, I think it's dense. So
Mhm.
that's all.
It's still restrictive in a
I read
way.
it and I thought it was good. The thing that I was hoping for that was actually in there was the minimum rental time is 30 days. So that precludes
short
weekend
term.
rentals or short,
Mhm.
very short term. I mean, there's always ways to get around that, but for our purposes, I think it's.
And they have to be owner occupied, right?
And no, not.
Yeah.
Property has
we-
to be on,
But you don't have to be owner occupied in the village.
property does.
Right.
I think they do in the village, right?
No.
No.
So did you want to put that on your next meeting agenda to discuss any comments that the board has?
Yes, I
So
mean,
that's
do
not-
we,
Yeah, I think
do
so.
we have time before it goes to the town to pass? Probably.
I'm sure they're giving.
Probably Thursday.
Is the Lyle, is the point that you don't want,
They're not giving us.
you don't want
3 days to look
people
at that, are they?
renting
I think we usually
Airbnb,
have 30 days.
Airbnbs as opposed to you?
Creating accessory apartments, the purpose of the accessory apartment is to help with the housing shortage. And if you wind up using that as Airbnbs, that doesn't help the
Housing
Right.
shortage.
housing shortage. It doesn't help the
Got it.
young single person that can only afford a one bedroom or
$800.
studio or something like that. Because they're all taken up by weekend rentals.
But it might help the person
ADU.
So
living
that's
in
my
the
own
house.
opinion.
Right, for additional income.
Last night we
Yeah,
opened public
but
hearing.
you can get additional income by renting.
Here's a message. Last night we opened the public hearing on this law, no comments. Board left the meeting open and voted to send the planning board and the county planning board for comments. They want comments from us. Once we get them back, we will address their comments along with any that we might get from the public and adopt the law.
So we have to put that on the agenda for
We
next
have
time
to, yeah.
because not everybody read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a good article in the Washington Post, I think, today about how it's transformed
Yes,
housing in
Yes, what they
California.
call it granny flat.
Yeah.
Which I really
say it again, I'm
object to.
sorry, what'd you say?
There was an article in the Washington Post about how it's made a big impact on the housing shortage in California, the addition of these ADUs.
Well, in LA, you can't have a single building anymore. It's considered too elite. There's going to have to be 2 buildings on each lot. And of course, some of them are totally fenced in with foliage.
And this is in Los Angeles or?
In Los Angeles, because they have such a problem.
Not buildings, but dwellings. Yeah.
Dwellings, yeah, there's no more one dwelling
Single
on a piece
family.
of property. It will all have to be multiple. How they're gonna do that in Beverly Hills, I don't know, but it's gonna be very interesting.
Lots of pool houses and guest houses.
I guess
and
the guest
such,
houses will
yeah.
be expanded.
I think they'll work it out.
Yeah, they'll work that
I'm not
out.
worried.
yeah.
Make it work.
All right, motion to adjourn,
So,
Second.
in favor?
Aye.
I.
Okay.